CTV family. Catch us live when you're a young person. Please be sure to keep interacting with us and let us know how you are coping with this pandemic in terms of online learning and of course working from home. And I think it's about time we get to meet our guests for today's show.
Yes, guys, welcome to the studio and thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to need you guys to use those mics, otherwise we can't hear y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Sound a little bit excited, guys.
I want to find out, first things first, when we speak of youth unemployment, there are a lot of young viewers out there. They might not know what youth unemployment is. So if you were to define it in a sentence, what is youth unemployment?
I think youth unemployment is all about if you're not employable. It's not about you not having the skills, not know what to do and how to do it. I think that's the misconception about that, because if you don't know what to do, how can you get to that point? And I think that's the main focus we have on our youth, because if you don't know what to do, how can I do it?
Yeah.
Mentioning that youth unemployment is not about those who are not employable. I mean, like, we've got millions of graduates in this country who have masters, postgraduate degrees, PhDs, but they are still unemployed. What do you think can be done as a country to actually learn from those countries who have less unemployment rate when it comes to young people? What can be done?
Anyone? Please do answer it.
I think it's more about investing in our youth. It's all about making sure that's enough organizational opportunities for them. It's also make it more practical and also more attractive to them, because guess what? We are moving so fast in this era, especially with COVID now. It's happening very quickly. So having that skill, that scarce skills that we have in South Africa, you know, it would be great if we can encompass that and make sure that that's done. In a correct way.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to profile Sozo after the ad break, but I just want to find out what are some of the key things that you guys do when it comes to making sure that we bridge the gap when it comes to unemployment, rather youth unemployment.
I must answer the question.
Come on now.
Come on.
They're leaving you on the end.
I would like to start by saying that the work that we are doing is bridging the gap, you know, between employment and unemployment. So one of the things that we can do is obviously creating pathways that looks like skills development programs, youth hubs where young people can access information, not just information, but opportunities as well, because that's what is lacking in our country as we speak. Not just there's no employment, because if we're saying someone is unemployable, that person might be lacking a lot of things, not just education or skills, but that person might be a graduate, but there's no one who's like providing any opportunity or access to that opportunity.
And I feel like government needs to do more in order to work with organizations and foundations such as Sozo and of course Al-Qaeda, because I feel like you guys are there to bridge the gap between the employer and of course those who are unemployed. I know in the past few years, our economy has been very fixed. It means it's not been growing. There's a lack of business confidence amongst South Africans. What do you guys think can be done for, like, the government can do in order to change that perspective that we need to be, instead of waiting to be employed, we need to actually start creating our own job opportunities?
That is a mouthful.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Before you finish that mouthful, we only have 40 seconds to go. So we'll let them answer the question after the ad break. What you must do is make sure you give them questions to answer on that WhatsApp line. It is 074-650-0202. I'll say it again so you actually can WhatsApp us, 074-650-0202. Right now, though, a quick ad break, and we'll see you after this.
CTV family. Back to Ekse right here in Cape Town TV, the best entertainment show in the land. It's #Talk Thursdays installment of Ekse Live. Be sure to join us on our social media platforms as we are discussing youth unemployment right here in South Africa. What can be done to actually make sure that youth unemployment does not rise, actually goes down? And to tell us more and to talk more about that, we're joined by Sozo Foundation, whom are celebrating, by the way, 10 years in the making. In the making.
We are ready to break down because we're so proud of everything that you guys are doing. Again, welcome back. So this time we just want to dive into what it is that you guys are doing as an organization. So if I have never ever heard of Sozo Foundation, what do you guys do?
Sozo Foundation is an NPO focusing on education, skills, and enterprise.
how did it all start, and what does Sozo mean? Like, I would love to know.
Sozo, like,
Yeah, I get
Some people are
that.
saying Zozo here.
Zozo.
Some people behind the scene are saying Zozo.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, I think doing a little background, on the name will do us some justice, because this is the question that is often asked every time we're saying we are Sozo. People just think maybe this name came out of nowhere, we just decided to say Sozo. Sozo is actually a Greek biblical word, means salvation, and healing, transformation, developing, and which is what we are doing through our programs. After school program under education, skills development program, where we run a variety of schools from barista training, construction school, beauty, graphic designing, coding, what did I leave?
I mentioned a lot.
Yeah, so, and then our enterprise program obviously is born by these programs to generate some income to sustain what we are doing, at Sozo, not just depending on the funding that we are getting from government or donors and stuff like that.
So you guys make your own profit. My maths is too bad. So I would like to know, when did it all start and how did it all start? I know it's been 10 years, but I'm like, can't count back.
Sozo started in the community of Vrygrond, which is down in Muizenberg, a small community that is not often recognized. Most people don't even know that is existing. It's now called Capricorn. By most people know it by that name. It started 2011, by a couple, husband and wife, Anton and Ilana Kyla. They just had a heart, behind supporting the kids from Vrygrond. There's never been a high school in Vrygrond up until today. The primary school that was first built was built in 2008, which is not able to cater for all, the kids even that are in Vrygrond. And the need back then was that most of the youth coming from that community needed to go into the surrounding areas in order to access education. And I'm talking about just free education without mentioning, the other forms of, education or schooling. And now when the survey was done, we've noticed that most of the kids there, drop out before they get into high school or their first year of high school. Reason behind that is that we know in Cape Flats, our areas are facing a number of social ills, which one of them is gangsterism, that comes with territories and drug dealers and all of those things. So coming from a particular area, going to school in a particular area, you are already affiliated, with a certain gang that is operating in that place. So now they figured that, okay, starting an after school program, that is going to assist these kids at least to stay in high school up until they get into matric. So that's how it all started. Started with just, I think, 12 beneficiaries. Geraldine here was one of those beneficiaries. Nigel followed in there, and now they are staff members. And then over the years, 5 years after that, we've got a thing for 5 years. And then we started now, 2016 June, we launched our skills development program, which the social development in the Western Cape is calling youth cafes, which just means it's just social hubs. I don't like the name youth cafe. I would like to call it social hubs, because that's where young people come together, gather, and get access into information, opportunities, and just to get a safe space for them to be able to identify themselves. And by doing that, it's gaining the self-confidence, gaining, dignity. We live in communities where lack of role models is, number one into the topics, lack of parenting, all of those things. So kids are getting recruited by gangs at the age of 12 years, just before they even get into high school. So a community like that obviously has lost hope. The people are there, the young people that you are working with have got the ability, but the hope is not there. So providing a safe space is just igniting that hope and giving that young person dignity.
I was about to stop you, but don't, because you're finishing all the points. What are the other kids going to say? I'm like, child, now Geraldine, you've been here for quite some time. Talk me through the process and how you have changed. Because I mean, for a business to survive and thrive, you need to be able to accommodate and change as the business shifts. So how did this MPO change for you, and how have you seen it grow and change into fitting different needs in the community?
From we started from a library, like a small space that could only fit like 12 students. And we went from that library to a big building that could fit like more than 100 students at one time. And I feel like our growth was through helping the community, and the community also helping us as we were recruiting inside the community, and now we are going outside of the community even to get more students from other areas. And I feel like we've grown as a community, as a organization. Yeah.
If I'm hearing from you, then I know it's the truth, darling. You've stick around for 10 years, which is something good Sozo is absolutely doing. But we absolutely continue with the conversation, and let us know, what do you think can be done to actually change the high rate of youth unemployment by Mzansi? After the break, we'll be joined actually by students who are going to share their testimonies with us from Sozo Foundation, and of course some are from Al-Qadr Foundation. Mara, say okay. Second break.
Yes.
Just chill, drink some water.
Drink some water, wash your hands. Don't worry, you won't miss anything in these 10 seconds, and we will see you after this.
CTV family.
I'm a 2000.
You know, it's Chongizaka.
Yeah.
And they're going to be talking to us about their experiences and how they feel. And how does it feel to be so young yet to know that there's such a huge unemployment rate? So we're going to be asking them the question. But before we dive into them, let's go to Geraldine. Before we let you go, before the ad break, I wanted to find out, do you feel like a model like Sozo can work just in your community, or can be modeled in different communities all over South Africa, possibly all over the world?
No, definitely. I can go to many countries even, you know. Our model is created for people to start their own thing. So it's, it's for them to create something themselves. It's not only for themselves, yeah.
So the pandemic hit us all last year, and then the president was like, from March, we are literally closing this country down. You are not going anywhere. And that has a lot of negative impact in our lives. So whether you're a young person or an older person, whether you're a student or you are of the working class. Yeah. You guys come from a community, two different communities that already is affected by high rates of crime, unemployment, education is also not a good thing. Yeah. So how did the pandemic negatively add on all of those things that you as a community were currently facing, especially as a young person?
For me, I am a matriculant. Yeah. So it negatively affected me because I don't get the same time, a lot of time to study. First things first. Yeah. The work doesn't get explained to us like it was before the pandemic. Yeah. Third thing, us as matriculants, we're going through a lot at the moment. Yeah. Some of my friends, they even tried to commit suicide because it was too much for them. Yeah. And I don't think it's a nice thing.
Yeah, not at all.
Absolutely not at all.
That's so tough, especially because you're already going through so much. Now you have to, and also matric is so important because, I mean, that's what qualifies you to go into university. So I'm wishing all your friends some love, and hopefully we can shed some light on the things that you guys are going through. I see you grabbing the mic. I feel like you have something to say. I got something to say, girl. Say now.
Did you see the show? Like, yo, I love you, girl.
So based on your question, I would just like to say, as a matriculant as well, how COVID has impacted us is that despite having a COVID here, we are still required to produce the same amount of work as all the matriculants before us. Like, they didn't have to go through this. Our grade 11 year was taken away from us, and now the COVID also during our grade 12 year, yet we are still called to produce the same results as the previous years, which is difficult for most matriculants. As she said that there are also, I can also say, some of my friends are facing depression, anxiety, all because of this. And I think that it's not fair on us as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that some of your friends are literally going through a lot because they really want to do well, and they have been compared to previous years. Yeah. How have you been able to stay positive?
Well, for me...
I don't know, girl.
Well, for me to stay positive in this time, I just surrounded myself with positive people. I block my ears to the news that is happening around the world, because if you let all that pressure from the outside get to you, you start like depression. It's pressure from the inside that you let from outside. So if you just like block out the bad news from the outside and stay positive, we know that there's nothing that is impossible in this world, that if you set your mind to something, that you can do it. So how I've been keeping myself positive is just knowing that, hey, no matter what's going on, I'm going to put my best into this year. And whatever's the outcome, I know that all I did was my best. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And you're from the Sozo Foundation as well, right? I want to find out, how has it influenced you as a young person to be able to strive and achieve all the things that you want to achieve in life?
Well, so I was passionate about hair, but then when I came to Sozo Foundation, they told me that there isn't a facilitator to do hair. So I went into a different but similar cause, doing beauty. And doing beauty, it opened my eyes so much, because at the end of the day, I didn't know anything about, like, I didn't have any skill coming from matric, getting through matric into coming into our environment that we were in. So I didn't know anything, and the skills that I've learned by Sozo has made me positive. It actually gave me positivity, so that I can follow my dreams.
And now you are 100% employed.
Come on.
You can open your own
Come
business
on.
and be your own boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, man, we're still going to talk more about the experiences with both Sozo Foundation and, of course, Al-Qaeda Foundation. Let us know, what are you doing in your little corner to actually help those who need? And, of course, youth unemployment is a huge problem in our country. What do you think can be done to embark and, of course, fight this huge pandemic of youth unemployment?
Yes, ladies and gents, make sure you send us your testimonials, your WhatsApp videos, and then if you're a bit dramatic and you're like, I need you to hear my voice, send that voice note over through. We will play it right here on the show. If you want to find out what you think about youth unemployment, what you think, maybe you're also in matric and you need some prayers and you need us to be like, hey, I need advice, I'm not doing well right now. It's okay to admit that you're not okay, because that's when you start to be okay, because opening up about something opens you up to see that